Hey guys, I want to show you a trick real quick with some houseplants. Now a lot of these houseplants you can do this to. Specifically, I'm going to talk about the Sanseveria today. I do have a few other videos that you can find. If you're houseplant owners, you know how they reproduce and just produce and produce, and you can always get babies from them. You can, there's a few tricks that you can learn, which I'm going to show you one today, but there's other plants that will go under this as well. You know, the Christmas cactus, aloe. Most of these you can just cut down. This Christmas cactus here, you can cut each little node and just stick it in some soil and it will root. I actually did that here, and it's done very well. It already bloomed, and this is not that old. Only about, I don't know, 6 weeks ago I probably did that, and it's already produced a flower. Aloe will do the same thing depending on the variety of aloe, where you can just pick off about, you know, an inch of this, let it dry, and stick it in some soil and it might root for you. A jade plant, a lot of succulents will do that. Today I'm going to show you the Sanseveria, and it's super simple to take care of these plants, okay? You may be familiar with the snake plant, which is the same family, but these guys grow in little bundles here. They don't come out separately like what the snake plant kind of looks in a pot. But it's been producing babies. I pulled one out and shared it with my sister. I pulled another one out and planted it in a different pot, and here's another one of the babies. But after they start to get wilt, if you will, after these, you know, leaves are spent, and they curl up underneath, as most houseplant leaves do, or they get a little sunburned, you know, and they're just done for. This one is drying out pretty well. You can literally come in here, and I only got one hand here because I'm holding the camera, and snip these bottom leaves right off. Okay, cut that leaf off, which I was doing this. I always maintain my house plants as best I can. And you always want to pull off what's dead and what, you know, is not being used. You don't want energy to go to that foliage because it just takes the plant's essential needs, and you really don't need that. So here's another one cut off. So anyhow, I was cutting these off and just throwing them out. And I learned a while back that you can just root them. So that's what I'm going to show you. So a couple weeks ago I had cut some off, and that's why this baby is doing so well. It was so small, and I'm like, I got to get rid of some of these extra leaves because so much of the energy from the roots is just going into those spent leaves. And so I chopped it, and now here this guy is beautiful. And in the meantime, as I chopped those, I got me some of these Play-Doh cups that I had the holes drilled in the bottom. Remember, I was saving these, and I've been using as planters. I literally just stuck them leaves, just like this, just like the one that I cut. I thought I might have let it dry out for a couple hours, maybe overnight, I can't remember, just to seal up that bottom. You just want it to dry. I think I did maybe one doing that and one without, and they both took, so it really doesn't matter. People will recommend different things. Now, if you're doing aloe, you do want to let that dry up and heal, because if it's wet and you stick it in some soil and then you water it, it just turns to mush, and you really didn't get anywhere. So I literally just put these in these little tiny pots, and I'd been hesitant to check them. I knew that they were staying green, they weren't turning brown, so I knew that they were alive and probably rooting. But again, I was hesitant to pull one out. So I figured now is as good a time as any to repot if I'm going to. And look at that. It rooted. That's the one that was in there. Pulled him out, rinsed him off, and he is just gorgeous. So there he is, a whole new Sanseveria, and if I'm not mistaken, they should just produce right out of the leaf. So another one should come up, and then your plant should start to really take off. But super simple trick. You know, like I said, the same goes for many of these things. Your spider plants and your aloe plants that literally produce babies, baby runners is what they are. Those are super easy to plant. You know, you just stick those in. You can see the roots. It's the same as the pothos, where you can see the root, the node, what you want to get into the water, or in the soil. But super simple trick there. You know, you got friends or family that has these kind of plants. I mean, that's literally all you have to do. And you don't, as some videos may recommend, because I did do my fair share on YouTube after learning this, you don't need to just clip a good healthy leaf right off the top, which I think some owners are hesitant to do that when they don't really, you know, want to ruin their plant like that. You just take off the dead stuff or the stuff that's dying. I mean, literally. So I, you know, cut these off and bam, there's 2 more plants. And you'll have tons and you can share with everyone. So it's just a good way to utilize everything. I mean, you still need to maintain your plant anyway, and you should always cut off these dead blooms. Here's a good example right here on Martha the Mango, where the leaf touches the soil, you know, and it just starts to go. You want to get rid of that. And here's a good way to utilize it. So there you go. Happy homesteading.